Let me start off tonight with an update on our favorite person, Ryan Walters, the Superintendent of Public Instruction in Oklahoma. And just in case you missed out on what the heck this guy is up to and you didn't see what I posted last week, I'll give you a quick rundown of where we were at a week ago. Because if you don't know, Ryan Walters is a Christian nationalist who runs the public school system in Oklahoma. He's done everything in his power to just shove Jesus into the public school system any way he can. But a couple of weeks ago, during a closed door meeting of the State Board of Education, two of the State Board of Education members were in this guy's office. There were only two people who had a visual sight of the television in Ryan Walters' office, and they said they saw something that they should not have seen. And by the way, in case I didn't put this up there, this is our friend Ryan Walters, the guy who's always holding the Bible everywhere he goes. But yeah, these two board members, this is what they said last week. I'll zoom in here. Their names are Ryan Dethridge and Becky Carson. And again, if you want to see the longer video on what they saw, I'm not going to go over all of this, but this is important. Dethridge said he noticed the video first while a parent was speaking about something, and as he weighed his options about how to bring the video to the room's attention, Carson noticed the nudity. I was like, what am I seeing? ... Is that woman naked? And then she thought she had a bodysuit on. And I'm like, that is not a bodysuit. Those are her nipples. And then she got a full body view. This is what Becky Carson saw on Ryan Walters' TV. And then later on, she points out, like, what is on your TV? What am I watching? And Ryan Walters is like, what? What are you talking about? So he acknowledged something was on the screen that should not have been on the screen. And this is what the whole news was about Ryan Walters basically a week ago. Board of Education members saw nudity, full frontal nudity on his television. And they said a couple things. They said it was clearly not safe for work. They said it looked kind of retro. Like, this is not modern stuff you would see. This is like someone who likes vintage adult content. And Ryan Walters was so quick to be like, I can't turn this off. I don't know what it is. And then let's never talk about it again, which is why those two board members went to the press. It wasn't clear what he was watching, though. All we kind of knew, based on what those board members said when they went to the media about this, is that it wasn't explicitly sexual in the sense that it's not like there was penetration involved, but there were naked women on the screen. And they did not understand what Ryan Walters could possibly be watching that involved that. Dethridge also said he saw multiple people on screen who were naked and that there was some kind of chiropractic table, which was weird. Walters later said to a Republican leader that he thought when he saw what was on the screen, there was a doctor and a nurse and like a white lab coat. So none of this really made any sense. No one could explain what he was watching. Ryan Walters pretended like it never even happened. And this is where it got kind of weird, because during this entire time, Ryan Walters, who clearly saw this thing on the TV screen, and despite two board members saying we both saw the same things on the TV screen, this is what Ryan Walters said to the press. Check this out right here. On Friday, Walters responded to the allegations with the following statement. Some of these board members are blatantly dishonest and cannot hide their political agenda. It is disappointing that they are more interested in creating distractions than getting work done for Oklahoma families. They're blatantly dishonest, even though all of the people involved seem to say the exact same thing about what they saw on the screen, including Ryan Walters. How could they be dishonest when Ryan Walters is like, yeah, there were naked people on my TV screen? Ryan Walters, director of communications, as I mentioned last week, told reporters it was embarrassing that journalists were even covering this. He said, "How dare you write a junk tabloid lie?" Ryan Walters blamed all of this on a hostile board that would say and do anything except tell the truth. And by the way, Ryan Walters said one other thing. He actually held a news conference, and I played a clip of that for you last week. Look at what he said in the news conference. Walters previously accused the 3 new board members and Governor Kevin Stitt of a character assassination. Kevin Stitt appointed those 2 board members, and even though they're all Republicans, and as far as I know, they're all very hardcore MAGA Republicans, Kevin Stitt and Ryan Walters do not like each other. So Ryan Walters was blaming the governor for setting him up. But look at what Walters said. These board members have a lot to answer for, and so does the governor of the state of Oklahoma. Did he direct these board members to lie about me? Did he direct his board members to go in and disrupt everything in these board meetings? Did he have the board fight against bringing private schools? Blah, blah, blah. No one cares. So Ryan Walters' position on this is those 2 board members lied about what they saw on the TV, that they might have been set up by the governor to try to take Ryan Walters down, even though Ryan Walters said in other interviews, yeah, there were naked people on the screen, but I swear it's not me. Okay, so that's kind of where we were at about a week ago. The other thing that happened is that there were investigations launched by the state's Office of Management and Enterprise Services, OMES, and the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office, and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. Because of all the things that are wrong with this country right now, this is the thing everyone has to work together to figure out. Now, here's what I did not really get to last week. OMES, one of those investigative groups, they hired an outside security firm called Alias Cybersecurity to do an investigation into the computer Ryan Walters was using and the TV. And was Ryan Walters watching something that was screencast on the TV? What's the deal? And this company ended up issuing a 32-page preliminary report about a week ago. And the long story in all of this is they basically said, we don't have any definitive evidence that will confirm or refute what was seen on that TV or why it was seen on that TV. We don't actually know the answer for the main question all of you want to know. But the one thing they said in this report that I do want to highlight is this thing right here, because this is in a section on page 7 called Detailed Findings and Observations. And look at this. At the time of examination, the television's input source was set to TV, indicating it was operating in the default Samsung Smart TV application. When initially powered on, the television displayed Samsung TV Plus channel 1204, Movie Hub Action. They even included this picture of them turning on the TV and saying, do you see channel 1204, Movie Hub Action? It's like the Samsung Smart TV. This is what they default to when you turn it on. Okay, whatever. I don't know why that's important necessarily, right? So the bottom line is there are multiple investigations still going on. None of them have issued their final reports on what happened. Literally, as I'm filming this right now, they have not issued final reports. But the Republican Speaker of the Oklahoma House said, I'm not waiting for the reports to come through. I have some information that I think all of you ought to know. So he went ahead and issued his own statement. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. This guy, seriously, he posted this on his own speaker website. House Speaker comments on the SDE investigation. This is Kyle Hilbert. He is the Speaker of the Oklahoma House. And I'm going to basically tell you what he said, because he spends a lot of words trying to explain something pretty simple. But here's what Kyle Hilbert, the Speaker of the House, says happened. He says that he has heard back from Samsung, the people who made that smart TV. And what he says is based on that preliminary report I just showed you, channel 1204, the movie channel, is what automatically appears when you turn on the TV. It's not because someone decided to turn on that channel, it's just the one that's the default. And what Hilbert says is the day they were having the meeting, Samsung has confirmed to him that there were two movies airing in the morning when the State Board of Education was having their meeting. Movie number one is a 1985 movie called The Protector, starring Jackie Chan, one of these old, fighting action movies. And the other one was a 2017 movie called The Foreigner. Those two movies were playing back to back during the State Board of Education meeting. So then the question is, if that's what they were watching on his TV, does it have the scenes? Do either of those movies have the scenes that these people were describing? And according to Kyle Hilbert, he looked up, on IMDb, he didn't actually watch the movie. He's a good Christian, I assume. Thank you very much. He says that the Jackie Chan movie, The Protector, from 1985, has all the scenes that match up with what everyone says they saw. And here's what he says at the very end of this. In my opinion, the most plausible explanation for what occurred that day is that the television, which had only been in the superintendent's office for fewer than 2 months, automatically launched Samsung's free streaming service and began playing a film that contained explicit content without anyone in the room realizing it at the time. And then he added this. Additionally, it does not appear that Samsung's internal movie channels list streamable content days in advance, so a planned conspiracy would be highly unlikely. No one knew what movies they were going to play on this channel. Instead, the available evidence points to a bizarre accident involving a newly installed television defaulting to a pre-programmed channel. Okay, so then the question is, do I want to believe what a Republican Speaker of the House says about any of this? So, I will tell you, I went ahead and downloaded this movie. I got a copy of this movie in all legal and fair ways, because here's the thing. There are I wouldn't say G-rated. There are modified versions of this movie available on the full movies on YouTube. You could watch The Protector right now, but they are slightly sanitized because there were scenes in the movie that people knew if we keep those scenes in the movie, we can't air it on like basic cable. And so they modified those scenes or deleted some scenes. And so you could watch the whole movie. So let me tell you what shows up in this movie. By the way, Samsung has not confirmed that the TV automatically goes to its streaming movie channel when you turn it on. And importantly, this explanation that Kyle Hilbert offered has not been confirmed by Ryan Walters or the two board members who were at that meeting and saw the stuff. But here's the question. Does that movie, the Jackie Chan movie, The Protector, does it have these scenes? Well, here's what I can tell you. The Protector does include plenty of nudity. But the question is there full frontal nudity with multiple people along with like a chiropractic table, even if there's no actual depictions of sex? The answer is yes to all of that. In fact, the movie has a scene where Jackie Chan and his co-star are being hunted down by a crime boss. And to hide from the crime boss, they decide to go to a massage parlor, as one does. And in that massage parlor, they are both super excited because these young, hot women are massaging them. And yeah, they perform sexual favors, or at least that's what's implied in this scene. And there is a woman who appears who takes off her clothes, and it's full frontal nudity. Now, is all of that gratuitous? Yes. Is any of it necessary to advance the plot of the film? Nope. It's just there for the male gaze. But that's what it is. They do have a scene in there where there are women walking around without clothing, and you could see the stuff. You could understand why the guy said, I saw a chiropractic table. Yeah, they were massage tables, and they are in that scene. By the way, in that scene, it turns out the people giving, the women giving the men the massage, they're with the enemy, and they try to kill the men, and then a fight ensues, because of course it does. Okay, what about the thing Ryan Walters said where he's like, I saw a doctor and a nurse and a lab coat? That wasn't in the massage scene, so what the hell is he talking about? Well, guess what? Like 30 minutes later in the movie, I guess this was still on the screen. There's another scene in the movie where the crime boss is running his drug laboratory. And in this laboratory, there are a bunch of women working in the drug lab not wearing any clothes. Why not? You're in a laboratory. Shouldn't you be wearing some kind of protection? Yeah, I guess. But also, I don't know. It's 1985. Maybe they just thought, let's just put naked people there. People will watch the movie. But there are women in the scene who are basically topless in the entire scene. There are also people who walk in wearing lab coats, then take off the lab coats, and they're wearing nothing underneath. So are there scenes with multiple naked people? The answer is yes. That is also in the movie. So it sounds like there's a plausible explanation for what these people saw because it matches up with everything we've heard. Is it a retro movie? Yeah, it was a 1985 movie. It looks old. So I could understand why they think this doesn't look like something you're just watching today. It includes the descriptions of what they were seeing and why they were scandalized at first, even though it didn't look like sex was happening on screen. Like it does match up with everything they're saying. Now, the easiest way to confirm all this, I think, would be to show part of that movie to those two board members and just say, look, is this what you saw on his TV? And for some reason, those two board members have not done that yet. And they haven't confirmed that that movie is what they saw. I'm not sure why they are not saying that or refuting it, but they haven't done that. But here's where I'm coming in on all of this. I am willing to admit that explanation, even though it's coming from a Republican Speaker of the House and not any of the investigators, I could admit if that actually sounds kind of plausible to me as well. And I'm willing to say, if that's true, it does exonerate Ryan Walters and that he wasn't just randomly watching adult content on his computer and it happened to be broadcast on the screen everyone was watching. Barring some other revelation, I don't think he was purposely watching adult content during a work meeting. There's a lot of reasons not to like Ryan Walters. This does not appear to be one of them. But here's what I want to know. Where the hell is Ryan Walters' apology? Because you all heard what he said about those board members. He called them liars. He said this is part of a conspiracy to get me. They're making this stuff up. Clearly, if you want to accept the theory that there was a movie playing on this TV that no one intended to watch, then you also have to accept that Ryan Walters was lying when he was slandering his other board members. He accused them of lying because they were hostile. His communications director said they were spreading a junk tabloid lie. Walters said they were being blatantly dishonest and trying to hide their political agenda. He said Governor Kevin Stitt, who appointed those two members to the board, was directing those board members to lie about me. And in fact, one other thing I saw is that this still exists. Check this out. This is a petition that right-wing people are spreading to make those two board members resign from their seats for spreading what they claim is a lie about Ryan Walters. This is a petition that's still out there. So that's what Ryan Walters has been up to this whole time. If he wants everyone to believe that, see, you guys, this movie was airing, I had nothing to do with it, then where is his apology for lying about what the board members saw? How come he's not saying he's sorry for accusing those two board members of conspiring against him? And I also want to show you this. Those two board members have spoken out since this explanation went public. And again, I don't know why they didn't confirm or deny that movie is what they were noticing. But look at what they said. What we saw on TV is content that would get the certificate of any teacher in this state revoked had it showed up on a classroom TV. Like if some teacher accidentally showed that movie in their school, in their class, that teacher would be out of a job. I believe that 100%. Now we have to ask the question, why did Superintendent Walters lie about the TV being connected to the internet and what he saw on the TV that day? He repeatedly called the board members liars and attempted to destroy our reputations. Yes, I want to know that too. Ryan Walters, even if you say the scandal here is not that he was watching adult content, then the scandal is he was lying about his fellow board members, even though he knew damn well they were telling the truth. That's the scandal then. And you know what Ryan Walters has posted since this explanation came out? He has not said anything about, see, I'm not guilty. He posted this instead. This is a GIF, however you want to pronounce it, from the movie Tombstone, where the guy playing Wyatt Earp says, "Hell's coming with me." Basically a threat. I'm coming after you. I'm bringing hell along with me, and I'm going to threaten you with a gun for those of you who have wronged me. Which, I don't know. First of all, I don't think it's wise to say I'm coming after the people who came after me with a weapon. That seems over the top. And also, I'm not sure Ryan Walters should be quoting decades old movies right now. That's what got him in this mess. But here's my point. His refusal to say he's sorry for spreading lies, that is not just political arrogance. It reveals like this rotting foundation beneath his conservative Christian persona. This guy, Ryan Walters, demands purity from educators. You know what else he did this week? He's announced that if you are a new teacher, Oklahoma has a public teacher shortage. He said if you're a new teacher coming in from a woke state like California, he's going to make you take an America First assessment that basically requires those new teachers to say America is the best and transgender people don't exist. That's what Ryan Walters was up to this week, trying to distract everybody from this story. So he has a purity test for educators, yet when Ryan Walters was at the center of this humiliating scandal, like what happened? Even if it was accidental, it shows you how he treats his other colleagues. He lashed out with lies and smears and conspiracy theories. He bore false witness against his fellow board members, which, by the way, if he ever read the Bible, he would know that's one of the 10 Commandments, the things that you're not supposed to do, even though he wants the 10 Commandments in every classroom across the state. So the movie theory, it may explain the nudity on the TV in his office, but it doesn't excuse Ryan Walters' conduct. His behavior tells you everything you need to know about his leadership, right? And this is a guy, Ryan Walters, who very likely is going to run for governor of that state soon. And what have we learned from all this? We already knew this, but what has this whole incident confirmed? That he is fundamentally a shitty human being who he can't take responsibility for anything, even if it's an accident. He just will spread lies to deflect blame on other people. Like, it shows you how quickly Ryan Walters will throw other people under the bus, even when they're telling the truth. And now, instead of owning up to any of it, he's quoting Tombstone and promising to rain fire and fury like he's some wannabe cowboy god. Like, it's just insulting to every educator who has been held to a higher standard than this guy who's supposedly leading them. All right, I'm going to pause there for now. What questions we got about Ryan Walters? Didn't he also appoint Walters? You're talking about Governor Kevin Stitt. Yeah, he did appoint Walters to a different position a while back, and then Ryan Walters was elected to the Superintendent of Public Instruction role. And now those two are feuding because Ryan Walters makes everything all about himself. He takes after Trump in that regard. He thinks you give him a little bit of power, he's going to blow it up and pretend to be king of the world. And now Ryan Walters very much, I mean, I think the funniest thing about Ryan Walters is he did all of this, in my opinion, to try to become the Secretary of Education. And then Trump went with the wrestling lady. And so Ryan Walters is still stuck in Oklahoma. So now he's just mad at the world. Taking one for the team. I watched portions of a Jackie Chan movie from 40 years ago for you. Where are your donations on YouTube? Ryan streams movies while at work. Listen, even if that were the case, which he shouldn't be doing because he has a job to do, and that was a Board of Education meeting, it sounds like, if you believe this explanation, all he did is turn on the TV, and the TV itself automatically went to that channel. By the way, I have seen comments online from different people who said they have the same type of TV, and it totally defaults to that streaming service on the Samsung Smart TV. So it is entirely possible he was on task at work. You know, the best case scenario, the best case version of this story is that Ryan Walters was trying to dismantle the public education system in Oklahoma, but he got deviated from that because adult content appeared on that TV screen. So even if you say he didn't do that on purpose, the alternative is, well, then he was not doing that, but he was trying to screw over children in a different way. Even if he was innocent regarding the nudity, his response attacking teachers and lies about being cleared is far more upsetting. Yep, that is my take on it as well. That now is the real scandal. How this guy acts when there was an innocent mistake made and people told the truth about it. And he's claiming, yeah, it was an innocent mistake, but also those people were lying about it. Which is it? You don't get to choose like one or the other, because the excuse that exonerates you and the fact that they were not lying, they go hand in hand.